Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to, there we are. Live from Denver. It is Friday night. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Critical Conversations for this 30th of June in the year of our Lord, 2023. I love saying that just to push Mel's buttons, but as you can see, I am not joined by Mel. She is feeling a little under the weather today, and so she is resting this evening. It has been quite a week for us. I will just start the show by with lamentations. It's been a week, and I did 2 live streams. This is the 3rd day of the 3rd live stream in a row. I don't know that I've ever done that before on my channel. And yeah, the first one was by design on Wednesday, and then the second one yesterday was with John Poe about the Shelley Miscavige story that Yashar Ali posted, and that was impromptu. We were going to be recording a podcast, and instead I said, hey, let's go live and talk about this other thing that we were not recording a podcast about. So we'll do that podcast. We'll record that next week. But we ended up having a whole show last night about that story, and I hope you all got a chance to check that out. I see all the usual suspects here in the comments section. All my beautiful critics, thank you very much for coming by today. I will have a quote for you in just a moment. Yes. So I just want to let you guys know it's been, like I said, it's been a week. I love doing these live streams. They're kind of fun, but they are prepping and all that other stuff. Anyway, it's kind of an interesting thing to do on a daily basis. It's not something I think I'll be doing every day, at least not yet. I did have an idea for a future thing that I might do involving a weekly and maybe daily live stream in addition to this show. So we'll see what develops from that. But I've not going to promise too much yet because I have been known to overpromise and underdeliver. So I don't want to do that again to you guys. But I do have some great future ideas that are going to kind of expand the show and expand the channel and everything I've been wanting to do and moving forward beyond the Scientology space into a lot more having to do with other groups and coercive control and that sort of thing. I think that's going to be fun. So, yes, I do have a couple of quotes for you guys. I wanted to let you know we got our car back today from the dealer, from the repair place, because our catalytic converter had been stolen a couple of weeks ago. So insurance helped cover a little bit of that. So it's been a little bit of stress this week, not having the transportation for the last couple of weeks and, having to arrange to go get that and getting that and then paying for that and all the, that I think we all feel when unexpected bills hit. So anyway, we're really happy to have our car back. And on that line, and in light of all other, things that I've been posting lately on social media, I have these 2 quotes for you guys. This is number 1. And I was really got to thinking about this this week because I also had an appointment with a heart doctor and everything seems fine. But that was kind of interesting. So this was kind of on my mind. I'm going to be gone one day, and I have to accept that tomorrow isn't promised. Am I okay with how I'm living today? It's the only thing I can help. If I didn't have another one, what have I done with all my todays? Am I doing a good job? That one really hit home to me. That's Haley Williams. And then there's this one from Dead Poets Society, Robin Williams' character, John Keating, quote, "No matter what people tell you, words and ideas can change the world." And I think I'll live with that one. I think that's one that I think I'll hold on to, actually. Maybe not save the world, but maybe we can do something about it. And anyway, so good times, good times. And then let us get onto our Snuggles Not Struggles cam. There he is, our little bundle of furry joy. This is, and you can see he is a ball of energy there. This is him having his afternoon nap. Every morning after his morning constitutional that I take him on, he comes back and usually does this sort of thing. He gets a little worn out. And then in the afternoon, he gets really excited, and then he'll just chill. And so Mel caught him chilling here on our Snuggles Not Struggles cam. So that is Benson in his full glory. And, I've not said this before, but, Benson is himself a very anti-cult dog. He every time I bring up anything about cults around him, he starts. I'm just kidding. He loves everybody. It's ridiculous. He doesn't even bark at other dogs. He's so friendly with everybody, except unless you are the mailman or any stranger at all walking in front of the house. Then he will lose his damn mind. But other than that, he's all good. So there we go. I see a call in the queue, and I will be getting to that. This is open mic, but I wanted to talk to you guys about something real fast. And this is kind of internal business. This is YouTube-y kind of stuff. But you might hear or read about something about a coming YouTube adpocalypse. And as a YouTuber, this is the kind of thing that I sort of keep a little bit of a finger on the pulse of. An adpocalypse means that advertisers on YouTube might start getting a little nervous and pulling out because of a study that was done that was published in the Wall Street Journal having to do with advertisers and their advertising dollars not being spent according to the way they would imagine that they should be spent, even though it appears YouTube is complying completely with their contractual obligations, and the advertisers would know that. Because if you're a responsible advertiser coming on YouTube, you sign contracts, and the contracts say what they say, and you read them, or you have lawyers interpret them for you, and it's pretty easy to figure out. And I actually spoke with people who have done advertising on YouTube, and they said, yeah, this is totally understood. This is not a controversial point, but it's been made into a controversial point in the Wall Street Journal that not all the ads that a person pays for are shown on YouTube. Some of the ads, I think 10 to 15%, can be shown on other platforms that YouTube is in partnership with that are not YouTube. That's not controversial. And that is actually, again, like I said, in the contracts, but it's being blown up to being made to make it look like it is. And it's possible that as a result, advertisers might pull out. And as a result of that, income could be affected for everybody who is making money on YouTube. So, and it would all be a public reaction perception problem, not a real problem. And, those are the kind of PR propaganda moves that happen around election cycles and around other technical, tech savvy and political ideological reasons. In other words, there could be multiple levels of reason why this is happening. I'm not going conspiratorial because I'm not concluding anything. I'm merely saying there are possibilities of, powerful people trying to manipulate things in difficult ways that are going to create difficulties for people as probably a kind of unintended consequence. Like, nobody's doing this to specifically hurt YouTubers. It would be a targeted attack against YouTube and against Google. And yet, who's going to suffer for that? The people who are trying to make a living on the platform. So I just wanted to kind of throw in my 2 cents as a YouTuber to you guys as an audience, that if you hear about this, it can be framed as big bad YouTube doing big bad things to their advertisers. But from my look so far, that doesn't appear to be the case. And if I see anything else that changes my mind about that, you guys will be the first to know. So I wanted to get that kind of really big, complicated thing reduced down to something simple. I hope I did. And there we go. And then I was asked, I want to thank Darla, by the way, for that super chat, and Anthony. And yes, thank you for those. Now, there was a question. Yes, so I see that, and we will get to that call, but there was another question. Yeah, here we go. Michael Jackson asked me this question. How much stock do you put into astrology and character traits? I'm a Cancer, and I think it's spot on as far as my personality goes. And what is your sign? Okay, so nobody's ever asked me this before, because my position on this stuff is I put all of this into a bin called woo. WOO, right? Woo, woo, woo. In other words, things that I believe are ridiculous. Now, you can believe whatever you want, and I respect your right to believe whatever you want, okay? But that doesn't mean I have to believe it. And I definitely do not believe in star signs or astrology or put any stock in it whatsoever. I was born December 11th. I'm a Sagittarius, and I have no idea what that means for me in terms of a character trait. I haven't paid attention to that stuff since I was about 10 years old. So that's my answer on that. And I don't mean that to be disrespectful, because as you can see, I'm smiling here. I'm not like ridiculing. I'm just ain't my jam. You know, I don't do that. All right. Thank you, Anthony. And awesome. Let me just kind of go down here. And yes. Good. Goop. Yeah, exactly. Oh, Gwyneth Paltrow. I have, it is very, very difficult for me to have respect for that woman with what she's doing. Oh, Poe, hey. Nice to have you here today. All right, so why don't we go ahead and pick up our first call, since it is in the queue here, and she has been so patiently waiting. Click on that again. Hello, is this Darla?
It is. Chris, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Welcome to my show.
Well, you know, it's always a pleasure to come on here.
Yes, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yeah, always a pleasure to talk to you. I'm going to try to stay on point. You know, that's difficult for me with my PTSD and my own mental issues. First of all, I want to congratulate. I really found that I knew that you were going to comment on Anthony's question to you, because maybe he hasn't been watching you for too long, because he would have known what your answer would have been on that. So I thought that was kind of funny.
Yes.
Second of all, I also wanted to say to you that you know, in regards to your YouTube post that you put on this week, you know, it doesn't surprise me that how you handle things, which is as a gentleman, as with kindness, with love, you know, you stick up for the people that you care for, and all of those things. I do want to say is that, you know, there are several of these channels that I've watched over the years, and I'm pretty sure that I do know the person that you're talking about. And I've lost a lot of disrespect for that person. And I find it really, really offensive, kind of, in a way, that these people that have this huge platform, you know, who are just really starting, to, you know, since the whole Danny Masterson, you know, first of all, that person has an ego that just drives me fucking crazy. I'm going to say that. And second of all, you know, the whole gimmick of them getting money and all the super chats that just come in, you know, like, you know, and this person is saying that it is to help provide, to get him, you know, to stay and go out to LA, you know, and like his relationship with Leah, all this bullshit is just ridiculous, you know, and I'm over it myself. But I do think that there are some good ones out there, you know, like Claire Headley. I love her, you know, I love Jeffrey Augustine, you know, but, you know, this one person in particular is just gone crazy for some reason. That's my one opinion about that. Okay. And I love the way that you handled it. Okay. The other thing is that I was guess I'm pretty far behind on this. However, what do you think of Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Coming out as running for the Democratic nomination for the upcoming presidential? Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I don't know how to.
Oh yeah. No worries. Sorry. No, you're good. You're all good. And yeah, what I put up on Facebook was my statement about, the first part of what you said there. Not looking to get into that tonight any further than what I've already said there. So thank you very much for your comments on that issue. On Robert F. Kennedy Jr. running for president, I will not be voting for him. Because I could not disagree more strongly with his stance on questioning some of the science on vaccines and that sort of thing. I am not at all prepared to sit here and debate point by point, his claims, because he's made so many of them, and so many immunologists and virologists have already taken great pains to debunk him line by line, point by point. It's not my place to do that. I will refer you to them. But I believe them, and I believe in the fact of science and the progress of science. And I don't like rabble-rousing science and let's have a debate on Joe Rogan and that's where we're gonna settle it out. Let's meet at dawn. Pistols. It's not. That's not how we do science. That's not how we should be talking about science. So I had issues with that. I understand he's, a Democrat and he's pro affirmative action. He disagreed with the SCOTUS decision about striking down affirmative action in college, and good for him. That's something I can agree with him on. But it won't. But the anti-science stuff is strong enough for me that I am very concerned about why he would be doing that or saying those things. Whether he really believes it or not, I don't know. But it certainly is a controversial stance to take, and not one that I appreciate, and not one that I want in the White House. How's that for an answer on that?
Okay. Well, I didn't really know a whole lot about him.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started, all of a sudden, I've seen it and watched it. I did watch the Joe Rogan podcast, and, I understand what you're saying about immunization.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think, and it's okay. I don't want to argue, but I do. He opened my eyes to some things, and I think that that him being a lawyer and having had to investigate some of these big pharmas, that he might know a little bit more than we do, and also because he is so connected to the Kennedy family, and I just think maybe he might, know some things about that. But regardless of that,
well, might I comment on that for a second?
Yes, you may.
Yeah, cool. Because let me just say this, right? I am not ever going to take, when it comes to science, I'm not ever going to take a black and white view of it. It's not science always right, everybody else always wrong. And
right.
And I want to be clear on the fact that there is not one field of science that doesn't have questions that are either not answered or are only half answered. There is no field in which that's not true. Across the boards, from anthropology to psychology to sociology to virology. Hard sciences, soft sciences, same thing, right? Human beings doing work, trying to progress our knowledge. And there are tons of unanswered questions. And when it comes to medical science, there are tons of unanswered questions. My problem with what he's doing is it appears that he's questioning the safety of things that are actually safe. And I believe that that's a form of fear-mongering, rather than asking questions that would lead to that are legit questions that should be being asked, that scientists in that field would agree are legitimate questions that should be asked. And if there are regulatory concerns or safety concerns with with pharmaceuticals, and I absolutely believe that there could be, is this the way to go about talking about it? And is this the responsible way to go about dealing with it? I tend to not think so. And so that's my disagreement, not that there aren't questions or that there aren't issues, because there definitely are. And that's a very general thing, but I thought I'd throw that out there.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You know what I mean? And I really am just learning about him.
Sure.
But I will say this, I think that he might, and I'm going to get off of here because I know, a lot open mic doesn't happen too often. So, but I will say this, don't you think that he might be really good with foreign governments and foreign politics because of his association with the entire Kennedy family?
No, I'm not going to say that he would be because of that reason. I would want to have more experience or more knowledge of him on foreign affairs than that. And I don't know much of anything about his attitude on foreign affairs because I haven't heard anything from him on that topic. It's been all about, questioning vaccines and science and stuff like that. So I don't know what his positions are on that, but just because he's a Kennedy, I would not grant him that knowledge. Kennedy, there's a lot of Kennedys,
Well, there are a lot of Kennedys, and I mean, there's a lot of controversy also around Robert, and but just tell me where to go, because you said you could offer like a place to go that would be the opposite of what he says about vaccinations.
Oh, right. Okay, what I would do is either right here on YouTube, there are videos that are literally RFK debunked, right? Or RFK's claims debunked. And it's scientists or it's science communicators doing that. So check those out, and then get back to me. Let me know what you think.
Okay. And
cool.
By the way, I did get my book from Carl Sagan. So thanks again.
Yes.
I'm working through my issues.
Excellent. All right. Thanks, Darla. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Awesome. See, I like calls like that. It's just conversational. It's fun. Okay. Let's see what else we got here, because I see some other questions coming in. Okay. All right. Yeah, we'll get to that. Dylan had something up here first. Chris, I just watched a stream on Doug's channel with HG Tudor. Do you know him, about him? Do you ever plan on interviewing him? I do not have plans on inviting HG Tudor to my channel to interview him, but this is the second time I've heard about it. So maybe I should reconsider. It might be an interesting conversation. So I will look into that. In fact, I will write that down because that is something I keep hearing about. All right. Okay, so WW here. Going to try to be brief about this, and but since you're asking, WW, just curious if you could discuss this guy Zero Dark Tony. Have you interacted with him? He claims you and Tony are working for the cult. Bizarre. How did this vendetta get started? Okay, here's everything I know. Okay, what is it? It's the 30th. 2 weeks ago, this man reached out to me on Twitter and said he had a story to tell, and he had been involved on the Purif at Celebrity Center. He name-dropped Danny Masterson, Catherine Bell, a couple other celebrities, said he was connected with that, had been involved in the president's office, and that he had been, that they had tried to set him up romantically with John Travolta. And these were big claims, and I was like, wow, we should talk, right? And I agreed to speak with him. And we were working out. We had not yet scheduled a time to actually connect. But that was my intent. Then he tweeted. This was on Twitter. This was in the Twitter DM. Then a couple days later, he started tweeting nasty things about Tony Ortega, and I said, "Whoa, that's not cool. Maybe you shouldn't do that." And his response was, basically, screw off. I'll tweet what I want to tweet. And I was like, "Okay, cool. You go ahead and do that." But my position is very clear that Tony Ortega is somebody that whose work and who, as an individual, I support for reasons I have put up on social media posts already. So I blocked him. I said, okay, well, this is not somebody I'm going to interview or have anything to do with, because this is a person who's directly attacking a person I do a show with every week. I'm not going to do that. And so I blocked him, and that was that. That was the end of it, and I was done. And then suddenly, it's me and Tony, the dark, terrible, twin ship, who work for OSA. And I just can't help but laugh at that whole thing, because if any of y'all think I work for OSA, this is one of the reasons it's been a little bit of a rough week, is this idea of like, here's 10 years of work for you guys. Here's thousands of hours of videos ragging on Scientology, taking it all apart, deconstructing it in a way that very few others have. And I work for OSA, really? I mean, wow. And then the guy who's been doing it for twice as long as me is the other guy who works for OSA. What am I supposed to say to that? So that's that. And that is literally all there is. That's everything I know. So make of that what you will, but that's as transparent as I know how to be. Okay. Here's a great question. Leroy Montoya asks, what made you choose Denver? Was a native, moved to Mexico. Okay, I chose Denver because Denver chose me, actually. I was living out in Minnesota after I left the Sea Org in 2013. I got out to, I was out there in Minnesota, and I was there because there was a woman, and I wanted to be with her after having left the Sea Org, and yet she was a Scientologist. That didn't work out because, then I got out of Scientology. And then I was out in Minnesota with no reason to be there. And a former Scientologist who lived out here contacted me. We were friends on Facebook. I was out in the community making friends with everybody in the X world. And she says, hey, you should come out to Denver and check it out. And I was like, hey, why not? Minnesota's miserable. I mean, I grew up in California. Minnesota is like, well, literally the polar opposite. It's so damn cold. So I came out to Denver, learned that it wasn't like Minnesota. It's very different here, and loved it, and the mountains and everything. And so I went back, packed up, literally, and within a month, I think I moved out here. Got some great help from Mark and Claire at that time. There was no Aftermath Foundation or anything like that back then, but they helped me personally, and I will never forget that. And as did the people who invited me out, and I stayed. And then I, met another girl and then married her, and have had my life here ever since. So that's the Denver story. All right, let's see what else we got here. Yep. Knowledge is power. That is right. Okay. Yeah. It's, you guys are kind of tracking on what happened. I'm looking at the comments here about this business of this Zero Dark Tony guy. Let me say something else. Seriously, let me say something else about this. I've already talked about this in very general terms, and the reason why I've talked about this conflict that occurs in communities in general terms is because I'm never talking about one dude or one woman. I'm talking about years of experience in this community, and I mean like 10 years of experience, and also in other ex-cult communities too. XJWs, ex-Mormons, ex-Moonies, all of them do this exact stuff. There are personality conflicts and dramas and, battles between individuals all the damn time. And you don't want it to be that way. I don't want it to be that way. I don't want to contribute to it. I feel every time I have to address it in any way, I am contributing to it, which is, it's like the push-pull crazy making kind of thing. But, I can't ignore it completely, especially when it's attacking me directly. But at the same time, that's probably the best thing to do. So it's a learning process, you know, but I've watched this kind of thing happen over and over and over again over the last decade. Okay. I've seen all of this before. None of what's happening right now is new. Might be new for you guys. It's not new for me. It's, you know, this is the same old song and dance, just different names, different, different time, different names, but the same song. Okay. There was a guy named Alonzo who used to troll around and until he got literally kicked off every single social media platform he ever went on. He'd come around trolling us and disagreeing and causing upsets on purpose and needling people all the time. It was just kind of silly. There have been others. There have been other people who I could name and I won't. You know, some are still around, some are not, who just kind of come in and flame out and or are trying to make a name for themselves by attacking other people. And that's a way that people do that. On YouTube and off, is go after people who are, you know, bigger or have larger audiences or however you want to put it, right? I don't think of myself as on some dais here, but I've been doing this for a while. And so they come and go. You know, staying power on YouTube is about creation and not about destruction, at least as far as I'm concerned. Right? You create things, you put knowledge out there, you put reasons for people to watch you out there that are not destructive. The destructive stuff comes and goes because it's, you know, it's interesting for a little while and then it's not. Constant conflict isn't interesting. Education is interesting. Knowledge is interesting. Progress when it comes to cult work, progress against the cult, that's what's interesting. And that's what we all want. All of us want that. But the infighting, it's a byproduct of the fact that we're humans. And anyway, so I just wanted to put that out there just so y'all kind of, this is how I think about this stuff, or at least, you know, in my better moments, this is how I think about it. And I thought, you know, maybe it might help to share that. I hope so. I really hope so. Yeah. Okay, cool. Yeah, the sunglasses are funny. Yeah, I would like to know more about HG Tudor, Juliana. If you want to send me more on that, I am more than happy to check that out. Like I said, I keep hearing this guy's name, so I better check it out. Do something with that. We have calls in the queue. Let's go ahead and pick these up. All right. Hello, is this Mark?
Yeah.
Hey, Mark, what you got?
Yeah, I just recently I just saw a video of Aaron, and there was this drone flying over that top secret base where all those secret writings and stuff and those bunkers.
Yeah.
And I was wondering, it must bother to hell out of Miscavige that the table has been turned to stuff. Him watching everybody's move. Now with these drones that seem to be able to fly around with impunity and keep a track of his dealings. That must bug him that the tables have now been turned.
I am sure that it does. I am sure that's one of many things that bother David Miscavige on a regular basis. Yeah.
But I guess he's, from what Aaron says, Scientology is facing is being sued by about 2-3 different people at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They got a number of lawsuits against them right now. Between Masterson's victims, between the human rights trafficking lawsuit, this new one that was filed also in LA. So they got trouble right now on the civil lawsuit front. That's for sure.
Yeah. And I guess the Jane Doe's and Master case, I guess they're still being harassed.
Oh, sure. Yeah, because they have the civil suit. That harassment's not gonna stop. Even though the whole point of the suit is to get them to stop harassing them. I mean, it's so dumb. Scientology is so stupid about how they handle this stuff. So stupid.
Yeah.
You know, but they can't help it.
And then there's this. I come across another video. These girls, these Scientology girls, and they actually photographed the PI. I guess he stuck out like a sore thumb because nobody in the neighborhood dressed the way that this PI did. Had I think it's shorts and sandals, and nobody in the area dresses like that. So he stuck out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, exactly.
And
yeah, they don't tend to hire the best.
Oh no! See, like the only PRs that work for Scientology are the dumb, desperate, and moralists.
Pretty much, it seems to be that way. It's well, like attracts like, and all of that. All right, Mark, I'm going to let you go because I have another caller coming. Thanks for calling in.
Bye.
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 All right, and let's pick up this other call here. Hello, you were on.
Hello, Joe.
Hi, Henny.
Hello, darling. Hi, critics. Hi, Chris. How are you, sweetheart?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
How are you? I'm good. I wanted to wish Mel well.
Yes.
I hope that you can hear me. Good. And, I hope she's better. And I wanted to give Benson a hug. And I wanted to give you a hug.
Thank you.
I wanted to acknowledge you because you're so wonderful. And that quote was so wonderful. You answered the second part of it absolutely marvelous. Marvelously, may I say. But the first part of it is really important. And that's, realizing things about yourself. You come to a point in your life where you're looking at yourself and what you've given. And I wanted to thank you for what you've given, because you have given so much to so many and taught us really, no, seriously, about, coercive control and what it's like to be in a cult and how to, giving us ways to be aware and protect ourselves. And you just continue on and on. And I want you to take, time for yourself, but also acknowledge the fact that you've given a lot.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, you're not wrong.
No, I'm not.
Thank you.
I'm not.
But thank you for acknowledging
seriously.
that. It helps. It does help.
It's very important to be acknowledged because especially someone like you. I'm being honest because you feel like you never do enough. And you're on
That's true.
So it's always, I know. I would think, oh, please, this is just a Jewish joke. I would think you were Jewish because all you have is guilt.
Yeah.
It's just a funny little thing. Okay. But, you do, and you have.
Yeah.
And you have to be the one to acknowledge and feel good about yourself and what you've given to all of us. Yeah. We learn from you, and we also try to do, I hope that I've given, the best that I could. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
In the time that I've been here.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's what I wanted to say. And on that, on a happier note, there's so many things to say. I'm going to try to say them fast. On a happier note, you always get into movies, and I saw Renfield.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Did you see?
I did. I saw it. Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, so if you're going to interview HD2 to protect yourself, you go in with an understanding of what you're dealing with.
That's right. Yeah.
I always, listen, your safety is my concern always, as are the critics and my family and myself. Okay? It's quite amazing, and it's very interesting. But as far as everybody else is concerned with their podcast or whatever, there's all different flavors out there.
Exactly.
It's like music. If I could just, you know me, I got to bring myself into it. Okay? There are some musics that you're not going to like, and some music that you really dig. Now, I've been told that I have a very eclectic music repertoire, because I can go from a Billie Holiday, okay, to a Metallica, to an Eminem, okay, to things that people would never. Kenny Rogers. I mean, it's so diverse, and it doesn't mean that you like every single thing that they write or that they perform, but there are things that you respect in their groove, okay?
That's right.
Not everything is all about your groove. You do you, and, look, there's that old saying, that old quote, you can't please everybody all the time, and you're not supposed to, as far as I'm concerned. But you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
You get what you get what you can, and what's right for you. And that's what I wanted to say.
Thanks, Henny.
So I love your cast, and I'm going back. Okay.
All right. Bye-bye.
You're welcome, and thank you, Chris.
You
okay.
bet.
Good night.
Good night. All right. Cool. All right. We have another couple of questions in the comments section I noticed here, and one more call in the queue. So I will take up a couple of these questions first and then get to that call. So Rev Girl asks, I'm reading Combating Cult Mind Control by Steve Hassan. Have you read it? Yes, I have. It's blowing my mind, the similarities to Church Scientology and just this info. Doug recommended it. Yeah, absolutely. I've recommended Combating Cult Mind Control almost from day one on this channel. It definitely changed my life. It was one of the first books that I read strictly about cults. I went from Carl Sagan's book on the demon haunted world to I think it was the one I read right after that was Combating Cult Mind Control, and it really helped. It introduced me to the bite model. It introduced me to certain concepts that I just wasn't aware of. In terms of, we used to refer to it as coercive persuasion. Now it's more readily referred to as coercive control. There's a lot of different terms that have been used over the years to describe this sort of oppressive behavior by predators. And we used to, kind of strictly call them narcissists, but that word has gotten so watered down, through bad usage that I just can, John and I kind of agreed to do, we'll just call them predators. Because that word's always going to work. So anyway, great book. And I have met Steve Hassan. He's been on my podcast a couple times. And, he definitely knows what he's talking about. So there you go. All right. Let's see what else we got in this comment section here. Well, Andy, this is a great question. Andy Fabulous asks, I see the way the Catholic and LDS churches had many clergy/people affiliated getting charged with sex charges. Why can't the authorities get a beat on the Church of Scientology? What makes COS so bulletproof with courts? Criminal case-wise, it really isn't bulletproof with courts. It's that the case never makes it to court in the first place. And so here we're having a problem with law enforcement, with investigation, the first phase of law and order, not the second phase, so to speak, right? The police have to go bust them. And investigations into Scientology are difficult because they require warrants, they require, investigation, and that requires money, that requires time and energy, and that requires the capital and the will to do it. Scientology is not particularly at the top of anybody's lists right now, although we do have this grand jury that has been, formed out in LA. We don't know anything about it other than it exists, and it's existed for a while. But until they bring some charges, or until some other investigatory body or police body go in there and investigate Scientology for real, we're never going to get to the court phase. And most of what you guys see are civil suits. The only real big criminal action recently with Scientology involved was the Masterson case. Otherwise, it's been civil suits. And the results of civil suits is monetary payouts. That's pretty much it. So if you're looking for, satisfaction in criminal court with Scientology, well, that's why we need, these bodies to get in there and get the investigations done, and that's hard to do because you have to have, probable cause, and anecdotes aren't probable cause. You need evidence, right? We can line up 12 people. It's been done. right? Line up all these people from the base. Mike Rinder, Tom DeVock, Amy Scobie, all these people years ago, right? Go to the FBI. We got this, we got that, we got the other thing. Here's all the evidence we have, and nothing happens. That's the question none of us know the answer to, as to like, why not? We have lots and lots and lots of conjecture at all levels of the conspiracy totem pole, right? From, it's just incompetence and stupidity and people changing jobs and normal, usual reasons to, Scientology bought them all off and owns, the FBI and the police and all that, which is not true. That's not the case, right? That they own police agencies or that they own the FBI. That would be just ludicrous. Scientology has influence, but they don't have that much influence. So it's, so the answer is probably somewhere in between, and there's probably a number of answers as to why these cases don't move forward or get investigated as far as they should. So that's at least off the top of my head, that's my answer for you there, Andy. Minnesota. Yeah, Minnesota. Good. Yeah, frozen peaks over frozen lakes. That's right. I did. That's exactly right. X-Cyan asks, could you be an expert witness in a trial involving Scientology or another coercive control group? Yeah, I could. I've been asked to do that twice in a domestic case in family law court, but neither one of them worked out that they needed me to go into a courtroom to testify. I'd be happy to do so. Now one of the things, of course, that came up in the questioning of Claire on the Masterson trial, if you were watching that, was, can you come in with an unbiased point of view? And that would be impossible for me with Scientology. I'll just tell you straight up, I could never swear to be having an unbiased view of Scientology. I could have an unbiased view about JWs, Mormons, any other group. But, I just know myself and I know my experience, and that just wouldn't be an honest thing to say. But if that wasn't necessary for me to give expert witness testimony, right, if I could actually go in and speak from my knowledge and experience on coercive control and Scientology, and I do have a unique perspective on Scientology's coercive control because of my experience and education, then I'd be more than happy to. I would. If the case was a case that was worth doing that, because of course, if I do something like that, my life is going to change. For reasons that should be obvious. So anyway, so that's that. Yes. Yeah. I was looking at some of your comments, some of the commentary earlier. Let's go ahead and take this call because I have left her on hold way too long. Hello, you are on.
Hello, how are you, Chris?
I am good. Thank you for waiting for me.
Oh, no problem. Actually, I love to wait for you. And actually, we all love to wait for you. You know why? Because you're amazing, awesome. And I think the reason why a lot of people, why you are maybe tonight are a bit like, I have a feeling like getting it, is because people try to attack you and you think it's injustice because I don't have this many views like others that might not have been joined YouTube that long ago. But you know why? Because you're authentic. You are a real one. Everyone wants to have in his courtroom. You are a real one, an authentic one. You are amazing. I just wanted to let you know because I have a feeling tonight you need that. You need sometimes too. That you need to know that this community is standing behind you. Whatever you do, we are standing behind you because whatever you do is authentic, true, honest, and on the top of the problem. Everybody loves you here in this community. Never forget that, Chris. That's what I wanted to say. Never forget that as well tonight when you turn off that stream tonight. And I know it's difficult sometimes, but there is no comparison. You are unique, one in a million. That's awesome. What I wanted to say. Well, thank you very much for the service you do.
Thank
you. To all of us, no matter if we are victims of domestic violence, no matter if we are victims of a cult, no matter of whatever circumstances, you are the one bringing us to the core of our problems. And you're doing a service to us, sir, if I can say it that way. Sounds a bit serious, but it's true.
Well,
I love it. I adore you, and you deserve the best of the best. And now I'm going, love you very much. Keep your head up. Good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Oh, my God. I am going to start crying, you guys. I swear I'm not paying any of these callers to say this stuff. I really thank you guys. Thank you. This is really helping me, actually. Some of my guards are starting to come down right now. Thank you. That means a lot. Let's carry on here. Okay, let's see what we got here. Chris, appreciate being open. And so yes. Okay, good. Via former members. No. Andy Fabulous says, isn't using Church of Scientology funds to buy off former members a misuse of funds as seen by the IRS? Don't they have to use their funds for better uses? Well, see, that's all a matter of perspective. I'm going to guess here, you might be referring to, say, Marty Rathman receiving money from the Church of Scientology. Well, they can pay him as an independent contractor, or they can pay him as somebody who's doing a service for them because he did. Remember those videos that he posted on his channel that took apart Leah and Tony and Mike and all of that, all those attack videos that he made after he went back to Scientology? They could be paying him for that service. And in terms of the IRS and how they look at things, no harm, no foul. There's nothing wrong with that. So it's all a matter of how they report it. And I'm just making that all off the top of my head, but that's kind of how these things work. The IRS is not a criminal, not generally a criminal investigation thing, unless you're violating the tax codes. And paying somebody to make some videos or paying an ex-member for services rendered is not going to red flag anywhere on anything, especially considering how little they're paying him compared to how much money Scientology puts out for legal defense, for the lawyers and the private investigators. That budget is, I'm sure, far bigger than any payouts they're giving to Debbie Cook or Marty Rathman or any other ex-members. So I don't know that that's really the line that the IRS is going to go in on, where they're going to bust them. And we don't have in the United States what the UK has, where you have to pass like a public policy or public service test. Like you have to show that you are of good, use to the public, that you're beneficial, public benefits. That's what I think the word I was looking for. So we don't have that over here. So that's why there's a lot more leeway in what religious bodies can get away with in the United States. I agree with you in principle, of course. I'm not saying your question is silly or ridiculous. It's simply that it's so easy for them to cover their tracks by legitimizing these expenses that the IRS isn't going to bat an eye. That's all I'm really trying to say there. So, all right, let's see what else we got here. That's funny. Okay, good. I'm enjoying some of these comments. Looking for any other questions here. Yeah. Agent provocateurs. That's right. Yeah. Oh, something else here. Looks like. Oh, hey, great. Thank you for your support there, Juliana. That is awesome. Okay. Here's a question. Debbie, have you read Lundy Bancroft's book, Why Does He Do That? Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. Would love to hear your thoughts. Wow, no, I've never even heard of that book. That is interesting. No. Yeah, no, I've never heard of that book. I'll have to check that out. Behind the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men. No, I'll have to check that book out. That is very, very interesting. Cool. Good guys. Yes, you guys got me. That is for sure. Oh, Copenhagen. I can't believe. Oh, that's where you're out from, Charisma. Okay, yeah, go to bed. My goodness. Okay. Okay. Oh, wow. This hour has flown by. Okay. I think we're done with the questions. I got all the way down to the bottom here. Benson is out with Mel in the living room. Otherwise, I'd pick him up and show him to you guys. Let's go ahead and start wrapping up here with our usual end of night nonsense. First, we have our critical thinking cards, as is tradition. I really love having little traditions on this show. So this one is, of course, that we share our cognitive biases and logical fallacies. This week, spotlight effect. This is a big one. This happens all the damn time. You overestimate how much people notice how you look and act. I've never done this. Instead of worrying about how you're being judged, consider how you're making others feel. They'll notice this much more, and you'll also be making the world a better place. So, spotlight effect. Yeah, it's a bias. We tend to, notice or put too much attention, take things too personally. Like I said, I never do that. This weekend, you guys are going to get a treat. Tomorrow is a 2.5-hour podcast with Mitch Brisker, this director who has been making the rounds on Janice and Mark's show, and on, I think he showed up on Aaron's channel. He is somebody, I actually got him first, but I post on Saturdays. I post my podcasts, and he went live. And so, okay, fine, whatever. I'm not trying to scoop anything. Just saying, I did get him first. And so that interview that I did with him is dropping tomorrow. And there is stuff in there I don't think you guys have heard if you've been watching him on the other channels. So I hope you guys will check it out. And it was a really great interview. I had a lot of fun talking to him. And I have read his manuscript. It is very interesting. And in fact, one of the live streams that I did about David Miscavige and whether he's a true believer or not was based on my talk with Mitch. So I hope you guys will check that out, because we go into even more detail about Miscavige and Shelley in that talk. So, yes, good. And then also Sunday, I'm planning on doing a pre-recorded Q&A on Sunday, as usual. I might change my mind. I might flip it to a live. So watch the channel and see if there's an announcement about that. Otherwise, you'll get a regular pre-recorded Q&A on Sunday. And then, of course, on Monday will come Tony and me doing After Scientology Straight Up and Vertical. All right. Yes, it is not a competition. You are absolutely right. So all that being said, thanks so much, guys. I am going to go tell Mel how awesome my community and my critics are. You guys are just, thank you very much tonight. That really made a difference. And with that, I'll see you guys soon. Bye-bye.